thank you for joining us here on this Monday evening. I am Rolly Hoyt alongside meteorologist Nathan Scott and Brooke Buckner.
It rained all weekend, and to start the week off, it was more of the same, but now that that is cleared up, do we have sunny skies to look forward to? I know the sun is shining right now.
We're going to see lots more sunshine out there on your Tuesday and for a large part of the work week. The unfortunate thing is the sun is going to heat us up quite a bit. With all this humidity, we're talking about heat index values that we haven't seen so far this season. Temperatures right now, 87 in Little Rock, 91 in Arkadelphia, 94 though in Texarkana. And you combine that with all the moisture in the atmosphere, and that leads us to heat index values 106 in Arkadelphia. It feels like 110 in Texarkana. So this is the type of situation that's going to build its way into central Arkansas going into Tuesday. We have a heat advisory in effect for East Arkansas, central Arkansas, and also parts of River Valley starting tomorrow, noon, all the way until 8 o'clock in the evening, because those heat index values will climb up above 105 during the peak heating of the day. So we have that weather impact alert for the heat, not only for Tuesday, but I expect it to stick around through Thursday at least. Drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, and also don't forget the pets. Make sure they have plenty of fresh water as well. We had some showers and thunderstorms roll their way through parts of the state earlier this afternoon. The last bit of it is now pushing its way into Mississippi in the form of some light rain. Temperatures tonight only dropping down into the mid-70s, and highs tomorrow, we're going to see them climb up into the low to mid-90s, but it's going to feel well over 100 degrees. Heat relief is on the way. I'll let you know when it could arrive coming up.
Thanks, Nathan. A couple of election notes for you right now. Over in Conway, Democratic Senate candidate Hallie Schaffner is holding a town hall.
The former farmer from Newport will face off against Senator Tom Cotton in November, and if elected, would become the state's first female senator since Blanche Lincoln left office in 2011. It looks like the end of the line in the challenge to the results of the Republican race for Secretary of State. A judge has dismissed Brian Norris's lawsuit alleging problems with the recount in Saline County.
Norris lost the statewide Republican runoff by just a little more than 900 votes, but in the ruling today, Judge Tim Fox said he failed to prove any allegations against the Saline County Board of Election Commissioners. Norris requested 6 county recounts, including Saline, and all 6 matched the original results.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, meanwhile, has announced all foster kids in the state will receive a Trump account to help them start saving for their future.
Those are those tax-advantaged investment accounts created under the One Big Beautiful bill last summer. They're for children born between January 1st of 25 to December 31st of 2028.
The program provides a one-time $1,000 contribution and allows you to add up to $5,000 a year until they turn 18. To open an account, your child needs a Social Security number, and you also have to file a form with the IRS.
But experts also recommend you have a plan for the money in the account.
But you need to think about, what is the purpose of this money? Do you want it to be used for higher education or education more generally? Is this going to be for them to have flexibility to put a down payment on a home in their 20s or 30s?
People and setting them up for success remains a top priority of her administration. You can read her whole statement. We've got it on our website, thv11.com.
Central Arkansas's main resource for senior services is trying to settle down after a bout of funding whiplash.
Yeah, after DHS abruptly cut and then restored some programs, CareLink officials are taking stock of their precarious budgets. TV11's Tanya Motorzitsky hears from them as they try to project what services they can continue to provide.
Every weekday, thousands of Arkansas seniors rely on CareLink for services that help them stay independent.
I would probably be in a care facility.
From meal deliveries to transportation and in-home support.
For some of these seniors, it's more the delivery of their food is the only human contact they may have in a day. And so that operates beyond just providing them a meal. It gives them someone who checks in on them, who makes sure they're okay. Not every senior lives near family.
But behind those services is a growing concern.
Here we are, June. Has things gotten better for you guys?
So as of today, we are essentially in the same place.
We told you earlier this year, CareLink sounded the alarm ahead of the state's fiscal session, warning lawmakers that its funding had failed to keep pace with inflation. rising costs, and a growing elderly population.
It's a bad formula for a crisis on the horizon.
In the most recent fiscal budget, lawmakers kept funding the same for the state's Department of Human Services, which means CareLink has been operating on the same budget since 2016.
So when you couple inflation with that, we've got rising gas costs, rising food costs, rising employment costs. So we are being expected to serve not just the existing population with less buying power, but a growing population with less buying power.
Michelle Gilbert with CareLink says they received notice from DHS that $120,000 was being cut from their budget, along with more than $600,000 from senior services overall. In a statement from DHS, it says, "We are always pursuing ways to make our operations more efficient, and the fiscal year 27 budget will reflect changes in support of that goal, while also adequately funding the important services we provide." State Representative Ashley Hudson says she is still trying to find out why.
It's still unclear, and I still have some questions about how it came to be that some of these senior programs were suddenly pulled out.
After bipartisan and citizenship pushback, DHS restored the funding, but Gilbert says the underlying problems remain the same. By 2030, the senior population will make up more than 25%.
Tanya Motorzycki reporting for us there. CareLink also relies on private fundraising efforts to fill gaps. That will continue. They did have a plan to cut certain positions if lawmakers had followed through on the most severe cuts. We're also continuing to keep our eye on the screwworm fly as it starts to show up in cattle herds in Texas. So far, agriculture officials confirm 4 cases of the parasite have been shown up. Agriculture experts worry how quickly the flies can spread their infection. They suggest a return to certain fly bait developed by the USDA back in the 70s and 80s, as well as releasing sterile flies, all to stop the spread. Despite these latest cases, though, leaders still say there's no need to panic. And we're also keeping an eye on data centers. Fayetteville looking to become the latest city in the state to tighten the rules on where they can be built. City leaders up there will hear a new ordinance tomorrow, with a possible vote coming as soon as June 16th. This all comes after just weeks after Little Rock's board of directors unanimously approved an ordinance that would more heavily regulate them here.
AI is everywhere you look, and even though there are efforts to slow it down, nearly everyone is using it, especially for those applying and hiring for new jobs. But before an application ever gets to a human, it might be passed through a first round of screening by AI, which is why Indeed's Priya Rathod says if you're looking for a job, you should use it to help. However, she also says you shouldn't rely on it to do all of the work for you.
You can't just keyword match and have the wrong experience. Eventually, you are going to get to a human, and they're going to want to see that what you put on that resume and cover letter and profile matches what you're saying in person. In this world of everyone using AI to optimize their resume and cover letter, we're losing some of that individuality and that uniqueness, and you want to make sure you're highlighting that.
Rathod also says you should only apply to positions that truly make sense for your skills and experience, even though AI makes it easier to mass apply. That may be easier said than done, though, because according to LinkedIn, hiring rates are nearly 5% lower than a year ago and nearly 20% lower than before the pandemic. Still to come here at 6, no peaches, no problem. How one Arkansas family is keeping a generations-old tradition alive after the weather wiped out all their crops.
And the summer cereal drive continues this week. Tomorrow we'll be in Hot Springs, and then Wednesday it'll be Saline County. It's going to be warm and humid out there in the mornings, and then really toasty to just a summer sweat fest going into the afternoon hours. There are some changes just in time for the weekend. I'll let you know what those changes are coming up.